Transformers Hall of Fame. We're going into 2018, and now the final, you know, bracket of voting is upon us. We have the favorite Transformer character of the year, and we have the 2018 Transformers Hasbro Toy of the Year. We're down to the final three for each category, and we are just going to slowly go over them. So the final three that made the voting for the favorite character of the year,
Dun, dun,
we have
dun.
Beast Wars Black Arachnia, we got
Ba-da.
Unicron, and we
Ba-da.
have Omega Supreme.
Ba-da.
Now, I mean, of these choices, I mean, Black Arachnia, Beast Wars character always gets in every year.
Mhm.
You know, we've had a Primal, Megatron, Waspinator, Dinobot. I mean, the only one that, like, it's a matter of time before we're going to get Ratchap, Cheetor, Rhinox. They're all going to get in sooner or later. Black Arachnia, most importantly, her history, what people don't realize is she technically was the first ever retail female Transformer toy in America. For Japan, they have Minerva that predates way more before that. And I mean, if you really want to get technical, even Japan got some statues and stuff like that of RC at one point. But the first time we ever got a retail female Transformer in America was Black Arachnia. So she gets that distinction. Granted, she was a repaint. It was just a repaint of Tarantulas. So Airazor is the first time a toy was made to be female. Assumably, even then the rumors were, well, Airazor didn't have a gender when it was created, and then they made
So
it
that's
female.
kind of like with Ripley from Aliens, if anything.
Yeah,
They just wrote the character and like, you know what? We'll put Sigourney Weaver. Apparently, because Sigourney Weaver is like 6 foot something, and they're just like, you know what? I think this would do it.
and then ultimately in the end we got our first RC toy in
Yeah.
Energon RC. That was the first ever truly retail American Transformer that was made to be female from the get-go, unique
Yeah.
mold, blah blah blah. Anyways, that's
Oh wait,
Black.
what about Black Arachnia's Transmetal never made it out, right?
Well, that was again the Transmetal toy. If you want to include the McDonald's one, I guess
No,
so.
no, I mean the official one.
Oh, you're talking about the Transmetal too? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess that's
But
true.
did that even come out? Because I remember like
It
people
did
had a hard time getting it. It came out. And
it
then they had
did
to
come out.
recall
It just it did come out. It was an end of wave thing, so it was really tough to get
So
it.
that was I would have said that one would be the first like.
Yeah, you're right. I take it back. Like that Black Arachnia, and even the McDonald's one, if you want to count that one. That was
She's got 3 in the hole right now.
yeah.
Yeah. So I would say probably hands down in that case, if even the McDonald's one, even the original one, and then the Beast Transmetal one as well, you know?
Yeah, and when it comes to female Transformer toy history, she's all over it. Like she has a lot of reasons to be there, but just from a factual point of view, that's one of the most important things about her, especially was she was the Neil Armstrong in a lot of cases for that. Unicron is Unicron. I don't think we even need to say anything at this point. But let's skip over Unicron and go to Omega Supreme. Omega Supreme, I want to say that I'm kind of surprised that he's here. I would have gone with Devastator. I don't understand why Devastator has not been on the ballot since day one, since this Hall of Fame started in 2010, all those 8 years ago. He just seems to constantly miss the ballot, mostly because of whatever flavor of the month stuff is happening every year, and then somehow he just doesn't get on the ballot. But I mean, Devastator's Devastator. But so
Omega
Devastator's
Supreme surprises me because I think the last time we saw him on TV was animated, I want to say.
animated was the last time we saw him on TV,
And then we
you have
also had the video games.
yeah, I was about to say War for Cybertron was kind of like the only time he really got any major play outside of that. So and again he would get a toy here and there, usually a shallow repaint for the year of,
Yeah.
like he and then I believe I want to say
Wasn't he in Energon or one of those shows?
oh yeah
too?
oh yeah well that they kept the name kicking around because they used him in Energon. They kept it licensed and stuff like that. So it's something that he's always been an iconic character within the fandom.
Yeah.
It's just that I've always felt that the characters like the Bumblebees, the Starscreams, the Optimus Primes, the Soundwaves, the the Grimlocks, they've all gotten in. Devastator's missing. The
Yeah.
Constructicons, yo, those Constructibot guys, remember them? They all combine and stuff. Why isn't he there? And it's funny because Omega Supreme is kind of like Devastator's arch nemesis, depending on what Secret of Omega Supreme. If you saw the season 2 episode,
Yeah.
so it's very interesting that Omega Supreme got in, and that means that a huge chunk of people were voting for him from the get-go. I don't know where that's coming from, but apparently there was a lot. Maybe people really want a true updated Omega Supreme toy, because I mean we've gotten Devastator at this point. So.
What also blows my mind is that if you just look at that whole ballot, it's regular Transformer versus God versus Base. This is a weird, an interesting and very weird battle.
I think Unicron is one of those that should have just been put in from the get-go. Black Arachne and Omega Supreme are the two true that should be battling it out, because
Right.
why isn't Unicron just in there? It's like, why isn't, there's certain characters that are just like, man, he was the centerpiece of the '86 movie.
Yeah.
Like, why is he just not in there? But yeah, if I had to do a vote, realistically, I'd say Unicron, but I think Black Arachne is just going to get my vote because I kind of like her of the three. Although I do just feel that Unicron he really just should be in there. So realistically, he should win it.
I was gonna say, for me, Black Arachnia hands down, just because Beast Wars and Beast Machines, a lot of characterization,
Yeah,
a
awesome.
lot of really good work with Venus Terzo doing that character, and the fact that she comes, just like the other two characters, she does pop up again, or a variation of her will pop up again. So like I said before, I think I had mentioned in another conversation with you, basically her popping up in animated.
Yeah.
Then also kind of how she does her own thing and kind of stays she does her own thing and stays to herself kind of thing, I feel kind of might have influenced how RC was in Prime, where how would I put it? Like, maybe her character in Beast Machines kind of influenced that, where she was hurt and she didn't really trust anyone anymore because Silverbolt wasn't around.
Yeah, we had that conversation. What we mentioned was, I mentioned how the thing is that Prime RC, her entire characterization and her backstory, if you will, is kind of influenced by a RC / Black Arachnia toy, which was the BotCon, I think it was BotCon 2001 exclusive RC. Her story was Daniel died. Spoiler, if you didn't read
that's true. And this is in the future. This is not like Kid Daniel. This is Daniel went on a mission, older Daniel.
Yeah, he went on a mission. He dies, and if you're following like the Generation 1 G1 cartoon lore, she became a headmaster. She was bonded to him. He dies. She goes into a depression, and over time she ends up becoming, the Black Widow Spider Transmetal 1 Black Arachnia mold RC. So that character existed in the BotCon lore, if you will, the Wreckers comics. You go back and now you look at Prime RC, and it's the same kind of story. She had a partner. He died, and then her too. It kind of affected her, and it kind of made her a little bit of a lone wolf. And it's kind of funny that in her kind of story, she then ends up getting a new partner who is a young kid human.
Yeah,
exactly. Which kind of brings her back to redemption, but she has those same kind of fears because of what happened to her old partner.
Yeah.
So, and the funny thing is then the character of Jack, her human, RC's human from Prime, ends up getting kidnapped by a Black Arachnia homage in Arachnid. Yeah, so, which is that's the beautiful.
So I kind of feel Black Arachnia is super influential.
Yeah.
Over the lore of the shows and maybe the comics and stuff like that. So at least that's what I feel. Like, I mean, Unicron, you kind of know what he is. He's this, he's that. Sometimes he's the Earth.
Yeah, well, it's whatever. It's whatever.
Sometimes he's the Earth twice.
Yeah.
In Transformers Prime and in
the movie.
What was it, Night?
The Last
Night. It turns out he's the Earth the whole time. He was here the whole time. Omega Supreme, big important character. Depending on where he is in the lore, but doesn't really change. You know what I mean? Like it's just big dude going to battle somebody.
Big dudes, simple kind of conversation, the way he talks. You know, energy must defend conclusion. Like kind of has that Computron kind of way of thinking a little bit, but not too much so. But yeah, so there's those, and then we have the 2018 Hasbro Toy of the Year, and the 3 toys that we have here are Generations Studio Series Blackout, the leader class. We have Power of the Primes leader class Optimus Prime. Mm-hmm. And the last one here is Power of the Primes Road Trap and Battle Slash, which is actually technically 2 separate toys, but they're counting it as one here.
Yeah, because that's the gimmick.
The 2 Legends figures that combine. A.K.A. Battle Trap, as he was known back in Generation 1, as they call the combined mode today. So those are 3 interesting. Now, we're not going to really bring up now what our 2018 choices are. Mm-hmm. Specifically, number 1, we're only in the middle of 2018 to be saying toy of the year.
This is very ballsy.
I know. We
didn't even finish the year yet. Pick the year end. Come on, guys,
I think they need to get an answer before San Diego Comic-Con to then do that. That's why, because I don't think Hasbro has another big platform to really do an announcement on.
That's true.
Until the end of the year. Like there's
because after Comic-Con, it's gearing up for Christmas. It's gearing up for Thanksgiving. It's gearing up. I'm thinking of the timeline as the toy industry, and we're starting the big push for the Black Friday. We're starting a big push for the Christmas, even though it's still summertime. It's no, you got to get ahead of that as soon as possible.
It's also a year that that HasCon is absent. Where if HasCon was a thing this year, I think they would save it for then, and then we'd probably be talking about this all later. But so we have these 3 choices. We're not going to give our definitive 2018 choices. We'll save that for when we actually do it in December of 2018. But we will give us we will give our choice of these 3. For me personally, I'd have to give it to the Optimus Prime. I think that it's really cool the way that it achieves something that almost looks like the Masterpiece toy in that price point, and gives us a good-looking Orion Pax toy, which up to this point, we've had Orion Pax Transformer toys. We've had them from Generation 1. We've had some Generations versions done. This Orion Pax robot mode is the closest we've gotten to the animation model that's in the show. So it's really cool to have one that really looks like that Fleero Deary Orion Pax, which oddly enough, if you look at the history of the Orion Pax design, that was originally what Ultra Magnus was supposed to look like. And then it ended up not getting used, and then they're like, what do we do with this model? And they're like, well, why don't we use it for, this was Optimus before he was Optimus, and then the rest was history with that. So that's really cool. But I really dig this toy a lot, and he's one of the better Power of the Prime toys. Where I haven't messed with the Blackout, but I mean, I've messed with so many Blackout toys.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine.
like the premium, the non-premium, the Legend Scale, the Fast Action Battler. I mean, and again, we've talked about it in the past on the podcast when we were looking at it. Did they reinvent the wheel? Yeah, they retweaked here and there. They made it look nice. But a lot of movie toys I'm not super excited about. Blackout never really was one of those characters that I liked even back then. So, and I really dig the Road Trap and Battle Slash. Don't get me wrong.
That one's mine.
Okay, so there's Wendell's choice.
I'm going with that. Again, new, different molds, and they're combiners without being combiners. It's different, it's interesting, and it's on a smaller price point. So what was the Minicon combiner from a few years ago? Do you remember that one? The black and green guys? I think it was 3 of them they combined.
Yeah, the 3 that combined, the one that was an army building team from the comics. Yeah. Oh man, you're putting me on the spot here. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no,
but like again,
I'm looking right at it right now. I know what you're talking about. Holy, one of them was female too. Jeez.
But I feel it's along those lines, like we're doing something a little bit different here. These two do go together. I do like it when the designers do that. I think it was the same thing with oh crap. Remember in the was it no, it wasn't Chug? The stealth bomber and the drone, they combined together because they were homaging the sound wave.
Dreadwing, yeah. They were homaging Dreadwing and Smokescreen from Generation 2.
Yeah.
And those molds, I forget what their original names were. They were repainted so many times. One time they were Strafe and Sunspot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I remember they had weird names.
I forgot the two black ones though.
Yeah, I know the original
ones. But like I like when they do stuff like that. Like, hey, if you get this other toy, they go together. And I find it interesting that on this one where they are two separate carded toys, they're like, no, we're putting them together in one. So I think I like that a lot. The Optimus Prime, I'm not too big on Blackout personally. Like I remember I got to mess with one and I was like, oh boy, this is a lot.
Yeah.
The Optimus Prime I've seen, I really like it, but I do feel that maybe some extra paint could have helped out on the undersides. I feel like he's more gray when you have them all together. Maybe some extra paint to make his arms look a little bit more red or something like that. I think that would have gone a little bit of a long way. Or maybe, I don't know. Like I like it, and it's very reminiscent of Power Master Optimus Prime in the design and the gimmick way of doing it. But I feel in his full blown Optimus Prime mode, there's a lot of gray showing, and there could have been some way
there should have been more paint.
Yeah. But I find the Battle Trap, the Road Trap, and the Battle Slasher really awesome, and I think I go with that if that's the year of the end kind of thing.
And for those that were wondering, the Minicon team that Wendell was referring to was the Minicon Assault team, which combined to make Centuritron, and the individual members were Heavy Tread, Runaway, and Windshear. And Windshear specifically was the female one. So pretty cool. I remember those guys, and I just remember in the Dark Cybertron comics they were like an army builder team. So totally put me on the spot. It was like what's funny is I forgot they existed. Like that's how long ago that was. It was because they were so quick. They were just kind of used in the books quickly, and then they were never spoken. And they were one of the few Generations toys that weren't really based on some pre-existing characters, which was very unique at the time. 99% of Generations toys that are done in that deluxe scale or whatever are based on pre-existing lore characters, so they were something fresh, and I totally forgot about them.
But yeah, like I want to reward them doing something very different, and Optimus Prime is Optimus Prime, and I don't want to take anything away from it because I feel it's very cool that they finally did something with the trailer, and since again. Power Master Optimus Prime, your cab goes into the trailer to make a bigger robot, and the fact that we haven't really done that
outside of Ultra Magnus,
and you definitely have your Armada
up to that
Optimus
point,
Prime,
at least, yeah,
and all those other guys, but like just the old school Optimus, and then doing something like that with them. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. Maybe Optimus's flight deck.
Well, it was one of those things that back then the first guy really to do it was Ultra Magnus.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, then it was just like, okay, you could argue, well, Omega Supreme uses all of his pieces to make a bigger robot, but it's more like the traditional truck and trailer becomes power armor thing.
Yeah.
Ultra Magnus was the first to do it, and then God Ginrai, aka Power Master Prime, was the second really to do it, and then that became a tradition from that point on. Not just with Transformers, but when Transformers kind of evolved into Brave temporarily.
Yeah.
Where you look at even Starsaber. Starsaber's a jet, and he has a trailer for a butt. That becomes his armor, and then you keep going. Fire Convoy, Armada Optimus Prime, even Energon Optimus Prime, where it's his trailer drones that become his super suit. Same thing with Cybertron. Like that concept kept going. And again, when you look at Brave with X Kaiser and Jay Decker and Firebird and all of them, which are all great series. Anyways, Just to also mention, so how the voting is done is if you use any social media, whether it be Facebook or Twitter, if you hashtag Black Arachnia, hashtag Unicron, hashtag Omega Supreme, essentially you could vote one for each. So if you want to just like, go on Twitter and say, my vote's going to be for the Transformer Hall of Fame, hashtag Black Arachnia, hashtag POTP Leader Op, which would be for your... what I'll do is I'll post their little poster that they have in the thread in our our YouTube image, so you'll know exactly what to type to do the voting, and that way you can let Hasbro know who you want to win.